let us come to our very first presentation by Miss Priyanka Bharti. I would like to talk a little about her because she is a very interesting person. She is a student peace activist. She was born and brought up in Patnas, which is a place in northern India, Fatua village, and she's the very first girl from a village to move out of the village for higher studies. She is currently pursuing her master's degree in German studies from Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, and she intends to fulfill her PhD research on class and caste distinction. She wishes to break the binaries of right and left wing ideologies and find solutions actively for societal issues such as casteism in India. In her presentation, Ms. Bharti was going to talk about peace as perceived by different speakers across the spectrum and what can we do as a society to harness our new idea of peace. So, Ms. Bharti, without any further ado, I am passing on the forum to you.
Hello, everyone. And first of all, thank you so much for giving such a platform and that to a discussion for peace that is required all over the world. And just now we know we are captivated in pandemic and all sorts of racism you are facing in all the world, casteism, gender distinctions and everything. And this is a proof. Here we are from all different backgrounds, all different countries with different ideas, ideology, facing each and every troubles and situations in our day-to-day life. But here we are together from different backgrounds for celebrating peace because we are hoping we stand together for peace. And this is a proof that in future we will surely be together and act towards working for peace. When we were children, if you think about if our parents told us to understand some meaning, for example, light, then we imagine dark. For example, tall, then we imagine short. That's the simple thing which we do, and even today. So when we talk about peace, let's understand what violence is, because peace is the word we use in our day-to-day life. Everyone we hear talking about, I want peace in my life. So what peace means? If you talk about violences across the world, you will imagine a country striking another country with bombs, nuclear weapons. You imagine war. You imagine someone attacking a person, bleeding and everything. They are violences. But what about those violences which we are facing in our day to day life, and these violences not let us live in peace? For example, poverty. For example, gender discrimination. For example, social discrimination, casteism, racism, homophobia, and all sorts of discrimination that is happening all across the world, like communalism, which we are facing in our country too. What is the solution about it? Mahatma Gandhi said, if I quote him, he said, poverty is the worst form of violence. Isn't it not true? It is. There is a simple small saying in Hindi, Bhukhe pet bhajan hoi na gopala, which means if you talk to a hungry person about peace, is it not inhumane to just go and talk about peace to a person who is hungry? Will he or she listen to you? He needs bread. Mr. Kofi Annan, he was the person who said, if any if there is extreme poverty in any part of the world, it is threat to humanity, human security, and peace. Let me talk about myself. I am not from a background which is economically well to do family. Uh, I am from a BPL background, that is below poverty line in India. And it was not easy for me to reach to a university because in childhood, when you have to choose from two things, one is bread, one is books, it's really difficult for you with what you'll go. As a child, I thought, why don't I go with the bread? But my father told me it's not the correct thing to do. to do. He chose books for me, and now I know why he chose books for me. Somehow we managed, and till 12th I studied, and I gave entrance exam and reached JNU. Like all other students who just in 2016, I gave my 12th exam and reached there. Like all other students, if you talk about teenagers and every student, youngsters, they believe that they'll go to college and enjoy their lives, make friends, have fun. That was my idea too. But in some sense, in the back of my mind, I had all the time 24 hours going along that we have economic problem. So but I was not worried that now I'll not get bread. My father had taught me enough that I could earn for myself. So I started giving tuitions since I'm from German department. And there are many schools in Delhi which require tutors for their students, maybe their kids for German. So I got a good amount and I started teaching, and I could not even earn for myself, but even if my family needed something and I went home, I bought from that money and I gifted to my parents, and that was such a relief. That was peace for me. When I saw a smile on their faces. But and I imagined also to pursue my master's and my PhD in JNU, because this was not that this is the only place meant for me. In 12th, I qualified for JEE mains also, that is IIT examinations. But I had to choose between two options. That is one which is affordable, and second was not affordable for me. If you talk about getting loans, a person who is having a house and everything, they'll get loan. Where will we get loan from? And so I opted for JNU and I reached there, and I was so happy that now it's like dream come true for a student who is striving for bread even in day-to-day life. And there I went. And suddenly what happens is the government announces that now your fee will be raised. Our fee was 108 rupees per 6 months, and our mess fee was around 2000 to 2500, which I earned from tuition 4000 around rupees, and I managed it. And we get monthly scholarship also of 2000, so it was okay for me. But suddenly they said that you have to give fee around 10 to 15,000, and there are 22% to 25% students in JNU who belong to below poverty line, and there are 40% students who are from poverty line. And do you think it was possible for us to pursue masters or PhD or continue our dreams to study and do something for the country which would work for betterment? Suddenly it was like my dream is going to be crushed, and that was the moment which hit me. I was all away from all the things which were going in the world. I saw the news, but it gave me so stress that everywhere violences and everything is happening. So I started ignoring them. But now it was real time to face all of them. It was about my dream. It was about my brothers and sisters who wanted to study, who wanted to pursue. What was our fault? Was it the fault that being from poverty background, poverty line, or being oppressed, being marginalized, we were not allowed to dream, to study? So we decided we'll not lose hope, we'll fight. I was not from any that time political background, and we were like, now we have to fight for ourselves. And the we planned for protest, and we went out with a copy of Constitution in one hand and placards in one hand, written on them, तोड़ देंगे नोटों की जंजीरें जो खींचे शिक्षा पे लकीरें, which means we'll break all the chains of money and power which are stopping us from our education. And what happened afterwards, you won't imagine, because mainstream media does not focus on that. We were outside our gate campuses, and the police and the state authority were beating us like we were some criminals, we were some terrorists, or I don't understand what was happening at that time. I'm not from a family where the parents beat their children, and no one wants their children to get beaten up. But you know what my parents asked me when they saw each and everything? They asked me, Ki, when your fee will be down, they didn't ask how much you are beaten up, how you are bleeding. They just asked, will your fee will not be reduced or what? This can show you the pressure of a BPL family, how they feel and what is main priority for them. We were beaten up, not only beaten up, that was okay. I was bleeding and my legs, the skin had come out and the blood was oozing out. That was not enough. What the police authority did, they used their safety pins from the batches, I guess they used their safety pins to prick through our skins, and that was not enough. They molested us, they harassed us, they were groping us literally. These all things were at that present moment, that particular moment, I was in a sort of mental trauma which I was facing. But I was not getting beaten up because I was brave. I was getting beaten up because it was my duty to get beaten up. If I was not standing, if I was not going to stand for my brothers and sisters, for the coming generation, when they would pose questions at me, where were you when our rights were being taken away? Where were you when I was not allowed to being getting education? Where were you when we were pushed down? And those who are from higher classes, those who are from higher backgrounds, and those who are with money will only study. What will I answer to them? That was the question going on in my mind, and even my career too. That was a life changing moment for me. With that oozing out of blood, I got freedom. I got freedom from everything. I got freedom from caste discrimination. I got freedom from all the fear that I had in my mind. I got freedom from the love of my parents because that love was pushing me back, it was pulling me back. I got freedom from gender discrimination. I got freedom from the fear of the authority of the state regime. I got freedom. And after that, it was not at all easy for all of us to go through each and every day, to go through all that beating up brutally with lathis and all. Our protest was not violent. We believe in non-violence. That's why we had constitution in one hand and placard in another, and we were raising slogans with our fist high, head held high. We were not attacking anyone. Rather, we were being attacked by 2 to 3 thousand police. We were being attacked by them. We were being pushed on the barricades, our head pushed on the barricades, but we did not lose hope because we could not do it. We could not afford it. We could not afford letting getting crushed our dreams. Again, the fight was not over. We went back to campuses with all bandages everywhere, all around, and the battle kept going on till 5 to 6 months. It was winter, harsh, chilling winter, and we were sleeping outside our school areas because we had fear that if we not stay here, they'll start registration process, and the people and the students who have the money, they'll do registration, and what will happen to us? So in the chilling winters, we were outside. Sometimes guards came, sometimes they threw water, sometimes they did whatever they wanted, but we did not lose hope. And after 6 months, what happened is that we got justice. Although the case is sub judice, but the court said you cannot ask for fee for payment of the workers in JNU or universities from students. The government has to afford it. If the government can afford the money for statues, if the government can afford money for celebrations, why can't they afford money for students for education? Because they have fear in mind. If students, if youngsters get education, they'll pose questions. They'll pose questions about equality. They'll pose questions about gender discrimination. They'll pose questions about casteism. They will pose questions about marginalization, communalism, and everything. They fear the voice of dissent. They fear the voice of debate. They fear our voices. And I agree to it that Our legs can be broken, our tongues could be cut, we could be made blind, but the hope and the struggle which we faced will not break our confidence. It will not break our willpower to fight, not for myself, not for the people, not for those who one whom I know, but for everyone, for coming generations, for our brothers and sisters, for this country, for the betterment of this country. Someone may think how getting education and how fighting, how fee hike is is relatable to peace. It is. We talk about peace, but why don't we talk about the steps to achieve peace, and why don't we talk about the aftermath of getting peace? Isn't the education way to getting peace? If I get educated, if I stand for my brothers and sisters, if I stand for everyone, if I stand for all sorts of oppression and suppression, I'll be the voice which will not raise for myself, but I'll probably influence others too to stand for themselves. And getting education will lead you to awareness. Awareness what is peace? Isn't ending poverty peace? Isn't getting justice a way to peace? Isn't ending all sort of discrimination a way to peace? They are. If you talk about current scenario also, talk about pandemic, we all faced and we all saw all sorts of racism even going on in our country with the people of Northeast. They were being called Chinese, they were being called Corona, they were being called whatnot. Was it not racism with them? They were being sidelined, they were being mentally harassed, they were being physically harassed. Will this lead to peace? If you talk about a community in our India, they were called, they are the bringers of Corona. They were targeted, and communalism was spread all over India. This is not related just to our country, but this is related worldwide. This is happening everywhere. If you see the killing of George Floyd, if you see their movement, do you believe peace? These are not the ways which are destroying our peace. These are not the things which are destroying our peace. They are. If you talk on racism, if you fight against racism, if you fight against caste discrimination, along these all pandemic, we saw the people who got corona, for example, and after that, when they recovered, they were not given any sort of help. People were not talking to them. As if corona was not about physical distancing, it was about social distancing. It is not social distancing. People were not helping others. This is a time which we should utilize to come together. This is a time which will bring together with, because we are facing a similar pandemic all over the world. We are facing every sort of suppression, oppression due to rise of right wing politics and everything, whatever is going on all over the world, we are seeing killing of all, killing of people on the name of caste, killing of people on the name of class, killing the people on the name of gender. We are seeing everything. This pandemic is binding us in a single bond. This is a thread because our fear is same, and we have to overcome this fear. We have to fight it. Then only peace is possible. Alone, I will not win. Alone, anyone can't win. Alone, no one will win. We have to come together. We have to come together for a better world where there will be hope, there will be peace, there will be justice, and freedom will reign. It is not possible alone. Since there are many things and there are all the struggles people are facing all over the world, and all are acting together for a single cause, peace. And today's talk is a hope that peace will reign because we are there to stand for peace. I'll end since there is time limit and there are many things to talk about. But I'll end my talk with some Hindi lines. Hope it will be translated in English too. And it is एक ऐसे संसार की रचना हो जहां टूट जाए सरहदें, जाति, धर्म, गरीबी, बेरोजगारी, अशिक्षा और तमाम तरह की बेड़ियां। ना सैनिक हो, ना भूख हो, ना खून हो, ना हत्या हो, ना प्यास हो, ना हिंसा हो तो बस हमारे लिए, हमारे द्वारा, हमारे संघर्षों से बनाई गई एक शांति, अमन और सुकून की प्रतीक, खुशहाल और खूबसूरत दुनिया। थैंक यू सो मच।
Priyanka, I have no words. It was a very, you started out with a very harrowing account of fighting for your right. And I think that just started this discussion on this note that the path to peace is never peaceful. So I think your strength and resilience coming out of all of that and still standing here and sharing that experience is the next step in your journey. So really, I'm really grateful that you came here and shared your insights. And we really hope that whatever you do in future, it will be for all the reasons that you stand for. And thank you so much for your insights, Priyanka.